What's going on, everyone? Trav here with Chaotic Strategies, and holy commanders. Man, this whole year, 2020, Magic the Gathering, it's just been all about commanders. Commander decks are blowing up left and right, and recently we just got Commander Legends, which is Wizards' first, standalone set specifically for commander decks. So instead of going out and buying a pre-built commander deck, you actually get cards that you can pick and choose and just kind of custom build your commander decks instead of just buying a bunch of random stuff and making one. So with that, I got to search and I got curious because I still just kind of standard play and casual play. Haven't got too much into commanders. But with the big boom in commanders this year, I kind of wanted to take a look into it and kind of understand it more. And I came across an interesting list. CardGameBase.com came out with a list of the top 10 cards to use in Commander for 2020, and it's a really interesting list, especially for 2020 where we have a lot of free drops in Commanders now, and some of these cards are just absolutely busted. So I wanted to take the time and share with you guys CardGameBase.com's top 10 cards to use in a commander deck right now for 2020. So to kick this card off at number 10, we have Souvenir Snatcher. Okay, this is a 5-drop blue card. It's a creature bird, and this thing is pretty insane. So you can mutate this card for 6. So if you guys aren't familiar with the new Mutate format, Mutate came out with the Ikoria Lair of Behemoth set. And pretty much if you have a card that can mutate, you can either set it on top of a card that's already on the field or underneath, and it gains all of its effects and abilities. So Souvenir Snatcher, like I said, it's a creature bird, 6-drop, blue, comes out on the field as a 4/4. It has flying, and whenever this creature mutates, you gain control of a target non-creature artifact. So that's busted. So pretty much whenever it comes out onto the field, anytime it mutates at all, you're snatching one of your opponent's non-creature artifacts, and then you are able to utilize those effects, and that is a permanent effect. That's not like until the end of turn or anything like that. You have that artifact. So absolutely busted, especially if you're running up against a deck that runs heavy artifacts. So very fantastic card. Okay, coming in on number 9 on their list, we have the Surly Badgesaur. Surly Badgesaur is a 4-drop, comes out as a 3/3. It's a red card. He is a badger, a dinosaur, so works fantastic in a dino deck. So whenever you discard a creature card, you're going to put a +1/+1 counter on Surly Badgesaur. Then whenever you discard a land card, you're going to create a creature token. So also for a third effect, whenever you discard a non-creature, non-land card, Surly Badger fights up to 1 target creature that you don't control. So it's just insane. So I mean, automatically you discard a creature card, you're going to put a +1/+1 on him right off the bat. And then whenever you discard a land card, you're going to create another creature token. And if you discard a non-creature, non-land, you get to pick whatever you want to fight before even going into the battle stage with your opponent. So just all around incredible card bust. Those 3 effects can really stack up and just really turn the tides on a match. Just a very incredible card. Okay, coming in number 8 on their list, we have Manascape Refractor. This is a colorless 3-drop. It's an artifact, and Manascape Refractor enters the battlefield tapped. Also, Manascape Refractor has all activated abilities of all lands on the battlefield. You may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to pay the activation costs of Manascape Refractor's ability. So, at first glance, it doesn't really, look like it would be that good, but the fact that it has all the activated abilities of all the lands on the field is crazy. So if you got a lot of those specialty land cards, that you can tap it and you can add X amount of mana, or you can tap it and you're going to gain life, or anything like that, it gains all of those abilities. So you can really start mana pooling very quickly and very easily if built right with this card. which just makes a deck even harder to get around, especially if they have a massive pool of mana where that they can just have at their disposal every turn and just pop off with creatures and non-creature effects. Just a very fantastic card. Number 7 on their list, we have Slippery Bogbonder. This comes out as a 4-drop, 3/3. This is a human druid card. It also has flash and hexproof when it comes out. So flash means that you can activate its effect either during your turn or your opponent's turn, and hexproof means it cannot be targeted by effects and abilities. So when Slippery Bogbonder enters the battlefield, you're going to put a hexproof counter on a target creature, then move any number of counters from among creatures you control onto that creature. Again, crazy. So if you're using something that utilizes, quite a bit of counters, that's going to benefit you very well, running this card in that deck. But even as a standalone in a deck that doesn't run a lot of counters, just being able to put hexproof on like one of your big beat stick monsters to protect it from any of your opponent's instants or sorceries is huge. So it doesn't come out very strong, but it doesn't really need to be, because it's already hexproof itself, and you're putting hexproof on one of the creatures that you control. So very, very fantastic effect. I really enjoy this card, especially since what I've seen with Commander, a lot of cards are running heavy instant sorceries, enchantments. So this helps protect a lot of those more important cards that you need to stay on the field. Coming in at number 6 on the top 10 cards to use in a Commander deck for 2020, we have Deadly Rollick. This is a 4-drop instant. It's black, and if you control a commander, you may cast this spell without paying its mana cost, and you just exile a target creature. So as long as you're controlling a commander, this is a free drop card, and you're just going to exile whatever creature you want to off the field. I mean, if you have, a deck that revolves around your creatures being exiled, great. But I mean, any card that your opponent has, if you have a problem card that you're having troubles getting around, this is a free drop as long as you have a commander, and then you exile it straight off the field. I mean, that's just that's busted. In my opinion, that's pretty busted, but all around a good card to have in a commander deck. Number 5 on the list, we have Dismantling Wave. This is a 2-drop white sorcery card. For each opponent, you're going to destroy up to 1 target artifact or enchantment that player controls. You can also cycle this card for 8, and when you cycle Dismantling Wave, you're going to destroy all artifacts and enchantments, and that's including your own. So you really have to kind of be careful. If you're running a deck that doesn't revolve around a whole lot of, permanent artifacts and enchantments, then this is perfect. But if you are running something like that, this can hurt you as well, unless you have a way to recycle. But I mean, just the fact that on a 3-drop, so it's a very relatively low drop, pretty easy to get out for each opponent. So if you're playing, in a multiplayer match, you can destroy up to 1 target artifact or enchantment that player controls by itself. So I mean, if you're playing with 5 people, you're going to destroy 5 artifact or enchantments right off the field for the get-go, and then if you have enough mana to pull up to cycle it, you're just wiping the entire slate clean. So very fantastic card to utilize, especially if you're running up against somebody that runs heavy artifacts or enchantments. Number 4 on the list, we have Flawless Maneuver. This is another white 3-drop. This one is a instant, and if you control a commander, you may cast this spell without paying its mana cost. So we have another free drop as long as you have a commander on the field, and creatures you control gain indestructible until the end of turn. So this effect is kind of, minor in comparison to some of the other effects that we've seen on this list, but again, if we have a commander, we don't pay anything. That's a free drop, and everything that we have is indestructible. So, if they, ran an instant card to destroy, a target creature or whatever on your side of the field, as long as you play this, it's indestructible. It doesn't die. Going into a battle phase, if they play something that's going to boost attack and defense, that overpowers your monster's not going to die. So you're able to kind of keep everything flowing through the game when you utilize this card, at least till the end of that turn. So again, amazing card to utilize in a commander deck. Okay, number 3 on their list, we have Deflecting Swat. Okay, this is a 3-drop red card. This is instant. And again, if you control a commander, you can cast this spell without paying any mana cost. So again, busted, you got a commander, we have a free drop. Then you may choose new targets for a target spell or ability. So essentially, you can run a spell or ability, use it, play this instant, you can choose new targets again to run it. So essentially you can run that spell or ability twice is my understanding of it. Don't quote me on that because I'm still new into learning a lot of these effects of Magic. So if I'm wrong, by all means let me know. That's just kind of what my gist of it is. So if I'm wrong, by all means correct me so that way I know the proper terminology. But again, free drop if you have a commander, just absolutely ridiculous. Hey, number 2 on their list, we have Verge Rangers. This is a 3-drop white human scout that comes out on the field as a 3/3. It has first strike, and you're able to look at the top card of your library anytime. So anytime that you want to, as long as this card's on the field, you can look at the top card of your library, and as long as an opponent controls more lands than you may play lands from the top of your library. How busted is that? So not only does it have first strike as a 3/3, so I mean it's not overly powerful, but it's enough, especially early on. You can look at the top card of your library at any point in time, and if that top card of your library is a land and your opponent has more lands than you do, you can play that land. So my understanding of it is if you play it from the top of your library, that still counts as your 1 mana play. So it's not, you can't just play one from your hand and then play one from the top of your library. That's my understanding of it. Again, if I'm wrong, by all means, let me know so that way I understand. So when I do build my commander deck, I'm playing properly. But that's the gist of it. If you play a land off the top of the library, my understanding is that counts as your mana drop for that turn. Okay, and last but not least, the number 1 card that they have on their list to run in a commander deck for 2020 is Fierce Guardianship. This is a 3-drop blue instant, and if you control a commander, again, you can cast this spell without paying its mana cost, so we have a free drop, and then you can counter target non-creature spell. So to me, that's very fantastic. We have a commander on the field. If our opponent is running an instant or sorcery card or flash card that's going to take out one of our key monsters that we want to keep onto the field, and we have our commander out, we can go ahead and not use our mana to bring this card out to counter that non-creature spell, which is huge. I mean, even though a 3-drop probably ain't gonna hurt you, but if you have other moves that you can make during your opponent's turn that require land, then this is perfect. We don't have to spend any land that we don't have to in order to target the non-creature spell that's going to knock out one of our creatures. So that's pretty much it, guys. Again, this was cardgamebase.com. This was their top 10 list for the best cards to run in a commander deck for the year of 2020 right now. I will leave a link down in the description box to their website so you can check this list out for yourself. Very interesting to see how a lot of these cards are working and a lot of these free drops that we got for 2020 in the commander decks. So I'm very excited to kind of get deeper and get my feet wet into the commander gameplay itself. I'm excited to learn how all that works and just to get in it and play it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, by all means, be sure to hit that like button, comment. Let me know what you guys think of this list, and let me know what kind of cards you think would benefit in the commander play right now for 2020. Like I said, I'm still getting into it, so I would love any ideas that you guys have from the dedicated players. And I know a lot of these cards are going to start kind of getting expensive because Commander Legends, but, you know, just hold tight, guys. We'll probably start seeing a decline a little bit come, you know, after the holidays or turn of the year. We'll see a lot of these cards start coming down, but I'm pretty sure Magic has got some more amazing things lined out for 2021. So we'll just have to play it by ear and see how it goes. I hope you guys are being safe out there. Be sure to wash your hands, and we'll catch you in the next video.